Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is the most important aspect of 2021, and that's a square between Saturn and Uranus. I have noticed that a lot of astrologers were talking about the aspect between Saturn and Uranus, but still somehow people are confused because actually they don't know what they can expect on a personal level. And we are all aware of the global changes and whatever is happening around us in our countries and globally, but we just don't know and don't understand how personally this can affect us. So I'll be going through each and every sign. Please, you can check your sun sign, moon, and ascendant. And before that, I'll just give you a brief introduction about Saturn and Uranus and what we are facing, what are we going to go through, and actually how we are going to feel. Most probably it will be different for each and every of us. So Saturn and Uranus made a square, let's say 1952, and then 1975 up to 78. That was a separating aspect, but still 1999 to 2000. So that aspect, that dance between Saturn and Uranus usually stays for 26 months. So 2021 is not the only year that we are going to deal with this square. And people born in the years that I just mentioned, they have that natally. Now, you might take a look and see where that square comes, in which house Saturn is located and in which house you have Uranus. Now, in your natal chart, the current square will look like a mirrored. So you will have on one side your natal square, and then the transiting square will be on the other side. And that can bring significant changes. Now, on the personal level, we might, that depends on the natal chart, we might experience certain events, but here we are talking mostly about a process. It's a longer process of a reorganization, a regrouping, the clash between the new and old. What comes out of that? Something old, but in a new form. So there are changes that are not going to be really easy because we are talking here about the square. So there is a tension involved. And on top of that, we have Saturn in fixed sign and Uranus in the fixed sign. And we know that fixed signs don't really like a change. So the change is not going to be smooth. We might feel odd, but the change is definitely unavoidable. And whatever comes out from this process, it is never going to go back to the old that we know. So you can have a look in your natal chart and see where Saturn and Uranus falls in which house. And that will give you even closer idea of which areas are going to be influenced or will push you to act and to do something in your life to break the pattern that you have. Now, for each sign is going to be different. We'll be going through that. Now, this is important aspect because we are talking about very slow moving planets, and slow moving planets, they just act long. They have the kind of that prolonged effect, and at the end they give the results that we all feel and we all know. So let's move to each sign and see what the signs on personal level might be dealing with. So let's start with Aries. For Aries, Saturn is in 11th house and Uranus is in the 2nd house. Now, 11th house is the house of your long-term goals, of alliances, your visions, your friends, internet networks as well. And Uranus, I'm looking at the chart, so I'll be looking a little bit to the paper and then to you. And Uranus is in your 2nd house. That's the house of possessions, money, values, income, how do you spend money, and your resources. You have certain pattern we all have in our life. So your innovation should come in a field of finances, your resources. So you might, for example, you might decide to achieve some of your long-term goals that you wanted to do, but you didn't have a courage, let's say, or didn't have a finances for that. And then Uranus come to your second house and you decide to risk. So you might ask a friend, let's say, and open up something that will give you additional income. Now, if you look at in your natal chart where Uranus is and Saturn, that will give you more information about the changes. For example, if Uranus is in your 8th house, then definitely you are going to have a financial risk. You will risk to invest into something. And you might ask, let's say, some other people for help, maybe friends. So, and Saturn, let's say it's in your 5th house. So that's something that you wanted to do for a long time, but you were not sure, you were not ready to take that risk. Well, now it's time. And you will be dealing with this throughout 2021 and longer. Now, for the sign of Taurus, we have a Saturn in the 10th house and Uranus in the 1st house. The 10th house is the house of your status, of how the world is seeing you, how you want to be seen, your career, one of the parents as well. And Uranus is in the 1st house. That house is you, your body, your personality, yourself, basically. So the changes will come through you, and you might want to change something in order to be seen on a different way in your work, in your career, and so on. Now, for example, if Uranus is in your 9th house, you might decide to study or to teach or something like that in order to have a better career. So whatever is going to happen, it will affect you. You are going to change. And at the same time, you are going to change the way your status is. Now, let's move to Gemini. Gemini will feel this square through the 9th house and the 12th house. So Saturn is in your 9th house and Uranus is in your 12th house. 9th house deals with your life principles, your life philosophy, legal or foreign matters, with the teaching, studying, long distance traveling. All this could be in the picture. Now, Uranus is in your 12th house. The 12th house is very interesting. That's a house of self-undoing, of withdrawal, sometimes isolation, house of ending as well, house of closure, spirituality. So there is a relation between your 9th house and the 12th house. There could be, let's say, a case where you will close some legal matters, or you might decide to study and you have no idea how that come to your mind, because the 12th house deals with our deep consciousness. And in the same time, for some of you, this might even talk about ending of, let's say, college. If you're in a college, you're having difficulties, you're not happy there, you feel that that's just not right place for you and not right college for you, then you might decide to end that cycle and to start something new, something that actually you wanted, really. So moving on to Cancer. Cancer will deal with the 8th house and 11th house. Saturn in the 8th house. The 8th house is a house of taxes, investment, loans, intimacy, other people's money, other people's support, crisis as well. So Uranus is in your 11th house, which is the house of your long-term visions and your friendships and internet networks and alliances and so on. So there is a relation between this. Are you going to invest something, or you are going to get the loan on a maybe 20 years time, because Saturn rules a long time. So you might have a loan in order, get the loan in order to do something that you really wanted to do, and that will serve you in a long run, that will actually make your, let's say, your dreams come true. And at the same time, you might be helping some friend, or a friend could help you, or some kind of alliances could be in the picture. Now, there could be maybe some crisis situation if you are dealing with friendship, but you are not sure if some intimacy issues are there. So all in all, this is something that will make you grow. And in a long run, it is going to bring nice changes to your life. Now, moving to the sign of Leo, we are speaking about 7th house and the 10th house. 7th house is a house of partnerships, business partnerships, personal partnerships. Your marriage partner is the 7th house, or a long-term partner. Also, this is the justice, the house of justice issues. And the 10th house is how the world, how you want to be seen in the world, your status, your career, your one of the parents as well. So Saturn in the 7th house and Uranus in the 10th, you definitely want to change something that is related to your career, to your status, the way you are seen. And if that means that you decide to get married, for example, to make long-lasting partnerships with, for example, your partner that you were for a long time with them, and or business partners. So there should be something related to the partnerships and your career. Now, your career is going to change. How will you involve your partners or a justice? You might decide to, let's say, to deal with or to start dealing with politics, because the Libra also rules the politics, and that's the seventh house. So I wish you all the best, whatever is coming to you. Now, moving to Virgo. Virgo is going to have this square between the 6th house, where Saturn is, and the 9th house. This is where Uranus is. So the 6th house is dealing with your work environment, with your lifestyle, with the services that you are giving to others, with your everyday routine. So what do you do every day in your life? And the 9th house deals with the legal matters, with the studying, teaching, traveling, life philosophy. So in this case, your changes are going to be related to the 9th house. So are you going to study maybe, or to change your work routine, or to change your working environment, and maybe quit your job to start studying, and or you want to travel maybe, or you might also, let's say, have issues maybe with some legal matters. That's the possibility as well. So take care of your lifestyle, that's for sure, because Saturn in the 6th house is always asking you to fix any health issues that that are coming out from the lifestyle that you have. So that's definitely the advice that I want to give you. Moving to Libra. Libra is going to have this square between the 5th and the 8th house. Now, the 5th house deals with the love, with the romance, kids, self-expression, the hobbies, what we love, what we like to do. And in your 8th house, Uranus is sitting. The 8th house is the house of investment, taxes, intimacy, crisis situations, pregnancies as well. So for some Libras, this might mean that you will find someone that you really love and then that you really like, and then you might actually decide to have a baby, let's say, or your intimacy, your intimate life could spark. In another way, if that's not the case, then you might decide to invest in your hobbies and make business out of that. That's also one of the possibilities. Moving on to Scorpios. For Scorpio, this is a square between the 4th and the 7th house. So the 4th house, where Saturn is, deals with your home environment, with your family, your close family, one of the parents, for example. Your psychological background, that's the house of our psychology. And the 7th house, where Uranus is your partnerships, business partnerships, personal marriage partner, court cases, and so on. So Saturn in the 4th house might, let's say, push you to do some changes related to your partnerships, maybe to your marriage, and or if you have any court case related to the family matters, this could be in the picture as well. So it might be tense, but definitely it is going to resolve some things that has to be resolved. Now, Scorpio are going to do well this year, so I don't doubt that this is going to turn out really well. Moving on to Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, we are talking about the 3rd and the 6th house. Saturn is in the 3rd house, the house of siblings, neighbors, communication, documents, trading, teaching as well, courses. And Uranus is in your 6th house of your work environment, your services that you are offering to others, your daily routines, your lifestyle. So there could be a need for a course that you might take in order to improve your position at work or your lifestyle, if that's what you are dealing with. So that's one of the possibilities. Also, there could be something related to your siblings, let's say, and you might decide to do something, some service to others together with one of your siblings. So all the best, Sagittarius. Moving to Capricorn. Capricorn are going to deal with the 2nd and the 5th house. Now, Saturn is in your 2nd house, house of values, resources, money, possessions. And Uranus is in your 5th house. The 5th house is house of kids, love, romance, your creativity, your self-expression, your hobbies, that's a vacation as well. So for Capricorn, we are talking about maybe some changes within the related to the kids, let's say, that will affect the finances or the creativity that you would like to turn into some kind of financial gains, or you might actually be in love and then maybe spend some extra money. So all that are possibilities for Capricorn. Definitely dealing with the money and dealing with some pleasant things. So that is somehow going to put you into the situation where you will feel a tension and you have to resolve some things. But act on it. That's the purpose of this square. Coming to Aquarius. For Aquarius, this is a square between the 1st and the 4th house. Saturn is in your 1st house and Uranus is in your 4th house. The 1st house deals with your personality, your body, that's you. And actually what is exactly in front of you. Now, the 4th house is a house of your family, close family, your roots, the house where you live, one of the parents. So somehow the changes in the house are most probably possible. And you, in the first place, you and the house are going to be in the picture. So you might be actually taking responsibility for one of the parents, for example, or for the house that you live, for the property that you own, and something like that. And coming to Pisces, Pisces will have the square between Uranus and Saturn in the 12th house and the 3rd house. So Saturn is in your 12th house and Uranus is in your 3rd house. Saturn in the 12th house is not really easy to deal with. You might feel a certain pressure, or you might feel a little bit down, but still, once Saturn moves to your 1st house, you feel the relief, you feel that something is behind you. And then you realize what was the purpose of Saturn in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a house of undoing the things that we don't want to deal with. They might be there for a very, very long time, but we did not want to make the final decision about that. So we might have a withdrawal or turn to spirituality. There could be some endings and closures as well. And all that could be related to your 3rd house, where Uranus is. So the 3rd house deals with the siblings, teaching, documents, courses, books. You might, let's say, withdraw and spend more time alone to write a book. And tradings, let's say, of some things that you need for a spiritual journey. In the same time, there could be closure of certain subjects, and maybe out of blue, that subject comes up related to the neighborhood or siblings, and some things might come to an end. You might feel a little bit overwhelmed in the beginning. If that is your case, you always check the natal position of your Uranus and Saturn, which will give you more idea, more details about this. So you might feel a little bit overwhelmed, but once you make the decision and you end certain things that has to be, that had to be ended long time ago, you are actually going to feel good about that. So whatever is in front of you, I'm wishing you all the best. So this is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this Saturn and Uranus square is going to give you a little bit of tension and a lot of good things ahead, and changes that will benefit to you and whoever is involved in that square. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.